how to repair your cast net, the 3 places it's going to break, and how to repair each. This week on Kayak Hacks. Welcome back! If you're new to the channel, we cover kayak modifications, spin, and fly fishing. So poke that subscribe button so you don't miss anything. Now, let's get on with it. The first place and most obvious is you're going to tear some holes in the mesh of the net. The next is down here on the lead lines where the net becomes separated from the lead line. And the final place is the Braille lines where these are going to get cut and break, and you have to attach them with the right length to make sure your net performs correctly. So let's go look at how to repair each of those right now. Obviously, you've got to have some line to tie up all the little holes that are going to happen in the net. And there are 2 options for that. A lot of people just use mono because it matches the material of the net. I prefer using braid because I think I can get a much tighter and better knot using the braid. But regardless of which one you use, put a little dot of super glue on it to make sure that knot stays nice and tight. Now let's go look at how to repair those 3 problems. A lot of people just spread the net out on the ground, but I find that makes it harder to get at the holes and to identify the holes. So what I did is I went and got my patio table and I've spread the net over that. Now it's very easy for me to look at this as I walk around the table to find out where the holes are, and now the holes are vertical where it's a lot easier for me to tie them up. Well, thankfully my net's in pretty good shape after last season, but I do have a hole right here. I like using braid to fix these, and I've run my piece of braid through the different cells in the net, and I'm trying to match it up as closely as I can so when I tie the square knot it'll be like it was never broken at all. Then when I'm done with the square knot, I'll put a little piece of super glue right on the top of that to make sure the knot holds. Now it looks like I need to make one more tie going this way, because that ends up being a little bit bigger hole, and this is part of the problem of repairing a net. It's never going to be exactly perfect the way it was before. One point on putting on the super glue is make sure that that part of the net doesn't touch any other part, or it'll all be glued together. You can see that I can put my whole hand through this hole. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go try and match it up as closely as I can and tie a braid with a little square knot on each to reattach this to the lead line. Once I identified where the hole is, it's a lot easier to drape this over your knee and use that as the platform to make all these knots. Sometimes it's hard to thread the braid or the mono through the little hole, so I like using a pair of needle nose so I can go grab the loose end and then do the knot. Now if one of your Braille lines, these are the lines that run from the lead line up through the horn, get broken, you just can't splice in a heavy piece of mono, and here's where you have to use mono because you're probably not going to get the distance right. In fact, to do it wrong, you'll end up like this. Here the splice is much too short, and you can see the level of all the other weights on the lead line. So what you have to do to make sure you get this Braille line the right length is hang up the net where it'll all drape at a consistent height, and I can see exactly where everything is. Now to do that, you've got to actually attach the horn like this. So to get it to hang properly, I put a cable tie in right here, and I attach it to the horn to keep the horn up so it would not slide down the net. Now I've got a good hang down here. Now cut this off and do it correctly. So I cut off that improper repair that I did just to make an example, and you can see everything is hanging level. So now what I'll do is I'll take a piece of 50-pound mono, I'll attach it to the braille line, let it hang down, and then I will know exactly how long it needs to be when I attach it here. And I'm going to go ahead and use a Uni Knot to attach the new piece of mono to the existing braille line. When you make the Uni Knot, you need to trim it as close to the knot as you can, because you don't want the tag ends catching on the actual net. So I'm going to put some super glue on here as well to make sure that the knot stays tight. Now this is really important. You need to find the exact place on the lead line where the braille line was attached. And obviously if it broke, you should have a little bit of a tag end hanging out there. So this is where I'm going to attach my new piece of mono. Now I can just drape it down and then tie the knot at exactly the right place so everything is level, and that way when I throw the net out, it'll pancake properly. So I'm going to go ahead and do that now. So that's how I repair my net. If you've got a better way, throw it down in the comments below so we can all learn from your experience. Take care.